Hey everybody, it's Andy here, aka Montolio. We are back for a vintage challenge today, and I'm going to be bringing my blue-black Lurrus control deck to the table. And made a couple changes today, and we'll go through those momentarily. There has been a slight shift in the metagame in that I feel like Jewel and Raker are starting to taper off. And we are seeing a resurgence, or I shouldn't say a resurgence, we are seeing more control decks at the top of the metagame in addition to White Initiative. Of course, White Initiative spikes in and out of the top of the metagame depending on a week, but that said, it is there. And so I think one of the places that our deck thrives is against the combo decks. So specifically Raker and Jewel. And with those tapering off somewhat has prompted me to make subtle changes to my list. Believe you me, those decks are still out there. I think Jewel is more popular than Raker right now, and we're not taking it lightly, and thus we have things like main deck Null Rod. So let's get into what we've done today. So the core of my list hasn't really changed. I mean, I've been on 4 Force of Negations for a while. I just think, in addition to from 1 up to 2 Mindbreak Traps, and Mindbreak Trap is a card that has greatly impressed me. And last week I was thinking to myself, oh, maybe I want to have 3 of these main deck, as excessive as it is. But when you are running 8 forces, Mindbreak Trap is not as much as a liability as it otherwise would be, because in the least it pitches, and we're always going to find a spot to pitch in a match if our deck is functioning properly. And who's kidding who? Are you catching someone with their pants down when a Mindbreak Trap changes their mentality for the remainder of the match? They will always have it on their mind because it just hurts big time when you get their 6 casting cost Jewel or their ring or whatever it may be. You get all the spells that they've got on the stack in a stack war. It's just really good. And I do also think that there could be more stack wars as people start moving towards things like trying to cast flow state. Mox, flow state, we force, they flusterstorm, we get in with a mind break trap, something like that. It's very good against White Initiative. It's 50% of the time on their openers. They are playing 3 spells per turn. That's not an accurate statistic, but that's just my own feeling around the deck. So I really like the forces and the mind break traps, and I've decided to keep them. So let's look at the changes that I've made this week. Now, Nihil Spellbomb and Null Rod are not a great combination, but you have to realize that they are bullets in the way my deck is currently set up. I've been playing 2 Null Rods recently and had a lot of success with the 2 Null Rods because that's where the metagame was and or is. And I do like to have Soul Guide Lantern when I have multiple rods. But, and the reason being is that Soul Guide Lantern, in the least, if there's an all rod come in play, does get a key spell out of the graveyard. Now, that said, I specifically like Nihil Spellbomb in a bucket better than I like Soul Guide Lantern. The reason being is you get to have your cake and eat it too for the price of 1 black mana. And what I mean by that is Soul Guide Lantern gets 1 card out of the yard, and if you want to draw a card with it, that's it. You have to tap a mana and draw a card. Now it's a generic mana, which is a bonus with the Soul Guide Lantern. Nihil Spellbomb is more specific and requires black, but you can actually remove an entire graveyard and draw a card, which is really big game, whether it is you're playing in a mirror or, God forbid, you're playing against something like Dredge where you're just desperate to find another card. It's very powerful. And so I'm opting to do that today because I've gone down to 1 rod. And basically, if I'm playing against the Breach Gifts deck, I do like Soul Guide Lantern more with rods there, but the reality is because I'm running a couple Grafdigger's Cage, I will not be running Nihil Spellbomb or Tormod's Crypt. I will be running Null Rods and Grafdigger's Cage to try and cover that angle. And how many of those we'll see if and when that comes upon us, more a gut than how I like to do it in an exact science. And the other card I brought in is a Momentum Breaker. And so I think Momentum Breaker is a nod towards more of the mirrors. And so the Esper and Demir mirrors, excuse me, and there's also been a tiny resurgence in shops as well. And I do like Momentum Breaker there, especially around something like a turn one patchwork coming down. It can just generically be good. Of course, White Initiative. And so I've put that in there in place of the Null Rod. Nihil Spellbomb was just a straight up switch with the Soul Guide Rod for Momentum Breaker, and we just moved the Rod straight to that was just a straight sideboard main deck switch. So very little's going on today. I like my split, and of course I did change the Spell Bomb for a Soul Guide in the sideboard as well. Grafdigger's Cage is a bit of a polarizing card because it's obviously very good against Oath of Druids and against Dredge. One of the things that I have found, though, specifically in the Dredge matchup, which becomes challenging and something that I'm not sure I've fully sorted out or perhaps figured out how I want to sideboard against it. But when I'm playing against Dredge, Grafdigger's Cage comes down early. One of the areas where my deck struggles is that if a hollow one comes down and they go on the hollow one plan, I'm buying time with things like Bowmasters until I get a big enough frog into play to be able to challenge it. Or if they only have one hollow one, that I'm able to race with a Lurrus. It can be really challenging because you've expended a lot of resources to be able to get control of the board quite often. And the way I have traditionally been able to beat Dredge, and when I'm grinding it out against them, like I'm not talking about where I come in and I just blow Dredge right out of the water. We're getting into a grind here. Grafdigger's Cage does not allow me to recur my Bowmasters or my Psychic Frogs, things like that. And so it can be really awkward because I don't have a lot of ability to dig in my deck. There's not a lot of cantrips. I've got Dig Through Time, which I often will side out in that match. And we got Treasure Cruise, Time Twister, and Ancestral Recall. That's essentially where I'm at. And of course, Frog's drawing me things, but I'm not talking about a situation where I've got a Frog to draw me a card. I'm already doing okay, likely, if that's the case. But it's just a little side note. I had it happen to me last week where I was like, ooh, that's a pretty awkward situation. I've had it happen to me lots of times, but it was last week that I was like, I got this game if I've got complete control if I didn't have the Grafdigger's Cage. At that point, I obviously had other graveyard removal to be able to cover whatever it was they were doing. But yeah, anyways, guys, just a comment. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. We're going to see round one, guys. Okay, guys, here we are, round one. Won the die roll. No Lurrus reveal on the other side. It is possible my opponent is a Dredge player. This hand does not have a Wasteland in it, but what it could have is I play my Saga now. I've got some protection from a hollow one. In 2 turns, I might just maybe, if they don't have a strong hand, be able to find my way. I think because I don't know what my opponent's playing, I have to keep this. If it's a Dredge we're playing against, it's not likely going to be good enough, but it could be. I will need to have some luck along the way. Okay. Oh, I hope it's not Sphere Shops. Well then. Yeah. How do I feel about a raker here? I feel like I have to let that resolve and try and trap it with my Bowmaster. I don't mind the frog draw here because it's a card that can give me some card advantage. So I don't think we're playing against Wasteland, so I do think I'll just be proactive here. I really like Petrified Hamlet. I think it's a strong card. So this is an interesting decision point here. I think I have to let it resolve because I am trying to get rid of this Flesh Raker, and if they're drawing with their top, I can just kill it and save my force for a large threat. Okay, I like how we did that. Now, of course, we're going to see the large threat here. Oh. How do I feel about this? I feel like the card advantage it's going to get them is not good for me. I'm kind of in a bad spot either which way. I just am going to get rid of the Scrawler. It might be a little bit aggressive on my end. This is kind of like a game deciding play. Now, of course, that changes depending on what I draw, but okay, they didn't play a ring on me there. That's good at least. Ooh, that was a real nice draw, guys. I guess my question is, do I want to just go and get a Black Lotus? That will allow me to frog an Ancestral here? I think so. Well, we're a bit vulnerable here. There's not much we can do about it. But we've got to try and win. Wasted a bit of mana here trying to do that, and we're down a mana. Next turn, I'm just basically on the Underground Sea because I am going to Wasteland them here. They're going to play their top. And hopefully they don't find something like a ring. I think that was a premature concession on their part, but we'll take it. So Raker. Funny enough, it's been a while since I've played against Raker. Mental misstep definitely is fine. Don't think daze is great. Momentum breaker is good. I like the traps and I like the force. I really like all of these cards. So they've got the 4 rakers and whatever it is they're siding into. And I think it's striking a balance of how much actual removal do I want. Now I currently have 6 pieces between, or 7 pieces if you include seal. Snuff out, dismember, 3 pushes, seal, and momentum breaker. It's a substantial amount of removal. I don't think we want Twister. They're just too fast for us to refill their hand. We need to make 2 cuts. In addition to Scrawler. I forgot about Scrawler too. So I think we just need to keep all that removal. I don't know that I want to bring in like the extra push and long goodbye. Like, can I cut maybe a Spell Pierce is more reasonable to cut on the draw? I think I might cut Brainstorm. I don't know, maybe that's crazy. Something's got to give here, guys. Cut a Brainstorm. Can't keep that. Oof, a no lander. Call me crazy, guys. Let's see if we can find a land. I don't want to go to 5 against Raker. Not that I ever justify this hand. This is me trying to get maximum value out of my misstep, my negation, and my mind break trap. And if those things work, it can buy me time. All I need to do is get to an island. Well, that's a start anyways of being able to cast Consign. Now, if they just go workshop into a Scrawler, that's not good for me. Okay, this is likely going to be a Soul Ring here or a Mana Vault. So do I care? I feel like their hand is weak. They're showing weakness here. I just kind of have to snap that off. Like if they were going to cast that and then tap for a key, and I knew they were going to do that, then it's a better line for me to let it resolve and keep it tapped. But I don't know that. And if they just go into like a Raker or a Scrawler, it's really bad for me. So I feel like that's just the upside of countering that, is that if it was a Raker or a Scrawler that they were going to cast, my hand is a lot better having countered it. And we're just going to have to pray we draw an island, guys. Not polluted Delta. I only have one delta in my deck, I think. No, they're all deltas. Do I counter this? No. They'll just pass now, I think. Maybe I should have. Maybe I should have taken the opportunity to kill their land, their mocks. Because Mindbreak Trap is likely just only good here right now. But the worst case scenario is I end up having to pitch it to force a negation, and hopefully I'm holding up consigns at that point. This one I will trap. Key. Yeah, okay, so they did actually have the key. All right, that's in. Here we go. Okay. But lucky they didn't have anything there. All right, well, we're having trouble finding lands here, guys. This is kind of what I was hoping would not happen. I feel like I have to counter that. I'm not happy about it, but the idea is not to have to gut my hand of these consigns. But I feel like we're in a pretty bad position here. Like we've gone 2 turns, have not found a land. Feel like I need to hold that for Bowmaster. Oh, workshop. Oh no. At least I can counter that. Like if it was a worm coil or a masticore, that'd be devastating. Okay, I think it's now we need a blue source. Like Underground Sea would be beautiful. Yeah, this game's over. We just have not been able to find anything. We found a wasteland in our first, what is it, 12 cards? We have 17, 18 lands in our deck, so yeah, it's 18. Look, these gambits, guys, sometimes they pay off, sometimes they don't. We have a game to give, and not that you ever want to put yourself in a position to do that, but to go down to 5 cards against Raker is pretty brutal. And yes, you know what? Had I found myself a null rod in that 5, I probably would still be in a winning position right now. Well, that's actually not necessarily true. I needed to be able to stop a lot of what they're doing here already to have survived there, but there's no guarantees I would add counter magic. But yes, going to 5 in hindsight looks a lot smarter, doesn't it? Oh, interesting. Okay. Breaker, okay, I do have that covered with a dismember. This is like out of all the things that could be going on, this is not the absolute worst for me because it's going to draw me a card, and I desperately need to find a land here. Like it already might be too late, but like I need them not to find anything good here that they can cast. Ostensibly land go, and us to find a land. Any land will suffice. Obviously looking for a blue source. Perhaps the worst card in my deck right now. Okay, we did find one. Not thrilled about it, but just what we have to do. We need a land. We did get one, guys. So it does not tap for blue. It's a delta. So we're just going to proactively cast the rod here. Okay, that is really, really helpful for me here. Okay, I feel like we're back in this game here. Scrolling Crawler. Can I afford to counter this with the consign, knowing that I can just kill it with the Bowmasters next turn? But I don't really want to give them a card draw. I'm going to get a bit greedy. I'm just going to consign it, then I'm going to strip mine their petrified field here, and then I'm going to Undercity Sewers. I just feel like I'm compelled to counter this. I really don't want them drawing another extra card. I don't hate it. Keep them off a Mastercore, and the life loss is not insignificant. Now, it's a bummer if they have Dismember here, but I feel like we have to start trying to draw cards. All right, not quite sure how we won that game. We went, I think, 6 turns. It was turn 6 or 7 when we found the strip mine. So suboptimal, but we were able to find lands in succession, and pretty good call with the petrified, whatever that card is called, Hamlet, on Polluted Delta to shut that off. I almost passed turn as I did not see the writing on it right away that it was shut off, but we remembered in time to cast the Null Rod. So, yeah, we got there. We'll take it. Okay, guys, here we are in round 2. Very likely a control mirror. We did not win the die roll. So is this hand viable? Not really. Okay, this is better. So this hand has a mixture of things we can do. Hopefully this is not ancestral. Brainstorm. Yeah, I can't fight over a brainstorm. Thank God it's not an ancestral. But this is a sign of desperation to me. And we have found a second land here, which I think is really good for us. Now, our days is off. But if they missed on their brainstorm here, I think there is a reasonable chance that our opponent could be mana screwed for at least 2 turns. And that's hope. Basic Island, okay. Ancestral. Wow, that's so impressive. Not thrilled to go for 3 lands in a turn, but I'm not averse to it either. I'm not as worried about a Bowmaster here coming in. I think I'm more interested in trying to find a bit of help. Don't need that. Love a frog here. Or Bowman would be good. Pass turn here. We will try and get this next turn. The Undercity Sewers. They put a strand into the yard, so they do have mana here. They're not, so I likely misevaluated. Or of course that brainstorm could have completely cleaned things up. But to me, that's a weak line, is doing a brainstorm on turn 1 in my upkeep. We are going to need some help here, unfortunately. We don't have much going on. Now, I don't know that I want to be fetching for basics here right away. They are indeed playing Esper. They've got the Meticulous Archive here, so we will take that one. I don't feel pressured to fetch here, and I do need to be somewhat conscientious of my mana here. I don't hate that. The reason I say that is a wasteland off the top could make things awkward for me. I'm just going to pull Lurrus here. Yes, I'm not crazy about that. But dig through time can really not look good here. Once again, I don't feel pressured to do anything. So we do have a Spell Pierce beat. I will get an Underground Sea here. Now, they very well could have a negation here, and this is just going to look bad, but it is what it is. They have full information of my hand, I believe. Maybe they don't know about the Momentum Breaker. Wasn't keen to do that. I was interested in a Wasteland here, but I do think it's important that if I'm able to hold up a mana here, I will eat my entire yard. Okay, they let it resolve, and that's quite good for me, actually. Because Spell Pierce might allow me between days and Spell Pierce to counter their big play. Now, no guarantees, but yeah. So Treasure Cruise, I can't do much about. Lavinia. Oh, Stony Silence, sure. Do I just Time Walk here? I feel like I do. Gonna thin here. I acknowledge that Lurrus could be coming down here at some point, but and we might want the Fatal Push to be turned on, but so I'm very highly likely to get Wastelanded here this turn. Of note, my opponent has two of the Delve or the Surveil lands. There's Meticulous Archive. How interesting. You don't ever see that in Vintage. Maybe my opponent's playing the Wasteland list version of this. So this is indeed on. My question is, do I want to force a will here? I think so. I don't want them to have that. Let's see if they hard cast Negation here. Psychic Frog. Yep. I don't think it is worth me getting Spell Pierced, so I'm just going to be proactive in how I do this. Like last turn, I didn't want to get Spell Pierced. They might have their own bowmaster here. Looks like they do. Just resolving. So I could get ancestral. I do acknowledge 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that the bowmaster is there. Pretty low likelihood that I think I gotta kind of get force of will here. Not thrilled about it. Frog, yeah, that's pretty bad for me. I wouldn't mind a land here. Hmm. This is pretty rough on me. They're gonna have 6 cards next turn for their frog. What if I play Lurrus? Just a swords just makes that so awful. Okay. We are losing. Have to pray they don't have a spell pierce here. Negation. A bowmaster. That is pretty bad for me. This game is over. If I force here, it's over. Okay, I have to let it in. It's pretty bad. Funny enough, this Stony Silence has inhibited me from being able to make a double play with Lurrus here. Yeah, I mean, what am I supposed to do here? Can I force? They're just going to Lurrus Frog. This one's over. So they're not playing Wastelands. I think this is good. Like, I don't hate our matchup here. They don't have Wastelands. We do. We have answers to their graveyard. Double Nihil. Now, we're going to have to do better than this. Yeah, this is better. A bit awkward. knowing that they don't have wastelands is pretty good for me because it allows me to get things like undercity sewers here and not worry as much about being wastelanded. We definitely want that. Maybe a misstep here. Yeah. Otis, yikes. That's very scary here. They don't have land. Yeah, I think we're going to force back here. Like, if they're going to burn their Lotus to try and STP this or something, like, I guess so. Second force, okay. They did find a land, okay. I'm not crazy about this, but I realize I'm giving off some really good stuff in the yard and the Nihil Spellbomb and the Frog, but yeah, I'm gonna put they got a Bowmaster here, and I think that's okay. Yes, it put some pressure on me. Okay, sadly I did not find another land there, but very nice. Love another land here. We did not get one. I am at 9 life. I think I'm going to get the Frog out and try and set this up for next turn. So they do have another force. Okay. So they're basically all in on this currently. And we do have answers. Another land is huge for me. That does work. Before they can get a force up. It's time. And hopefully they do not find a land here. All right. So that's what I was trying to talk about at the beginning of that game. Like, they don't have wastelands. We do. And they ended up getting mana screwed as a result of it. Now, do we need to have a swamp here? Probably not. Do we have something better that we want? I think the negation's just better than a swamp because the reality is I'm not getting wastelanded. Okay. Yep. That is pretty big for them to have that. Oof. I am going to have to Ancestral on their upkeep here. I can't wait to protect it. I expect this to be countered, but yeah. So my opponent has played very aggressively this match so far. Oh, they do have a wasteland. Oh, interesting. Okay. So what's bad news for me here is they're going to have some pretty big constructs. The good news is that I do have answers, and they are lower on resources here. Not quite sure what I'm looking for here. This could get negated. My opponent has been very aggressive. You know what, guys? I like our position. Now they are going to strip mine me here in another turn. Something to be aware of. But we're going to have some time here with all likelihood. Like my opponent's trying to attrition me out here, but they've been frivolously aggressive with their counter spells. Yes, they got a demonic. Yes, they got an ancestral. Two very good restricted cards. Certainly the ancestral one to be scary of, but my demonic tutor was nothing other than trying to spur my game plan ahead versus being reactive to what they were doing here. So I would love a land here. Forest is not bad. So I'm going to kill one of these. Well, I have the ability to do so. I guess my next question is, do I want to play a Nihil Spellbomb? What if they try and do Lurrus here? Land, Lurrus. I feel like I have to get the Spellbomb in here. Because if I get wastelanded here, it sucks for me. I have to try and use my spells where I can. So I have to misstep that. I'm not crazy about it, but I'm going to. Yeah. What if they hard cast negation on me here? I just think that's the world we're living in. Gonna put that on my spell bomb likely. I'll lose the value here. No dig. Okay. Probably put this on Wasteland as my guess. Or I could put it on Psychic Frog, but they have their own frogs. They put it on Psychic Frog. If they have their own Bowmaster, I'm not too worried about it. I certainly have the ability to counter it. But we're going to try and get going here. They have 3 cards in hand. Ooh, that's such a good one. I'm glad that's not a black source, the Meticulous Archive. No guarantees this frog's going to hang around, but we will weigh out whether we want to fight over it or not. I feel like this is a pretty powerful card in this spot. Okay, is this Lurrus? I wonder if they'll just buy it and not cast it. Time walk, yeah, okay. Demonic Tutor. Okay, this is going to be a long goodbye. Well, not necessarily. They might just go for a swords. Blue card, please. Dig through time. Jeez, that's a good one, guys. Could this be a double Bowmaster? Like, I feel like they've got something coming. Yeah, it's Bowmaster. Let's see if this resolves. They do have 2 mana floating, so I think I just let them counter my dig. And I counter their Bowmaster. I don't hate that. They're going to buy Lurrus. Okay. Well, they got a Psychic Frog. Okay. Okay, that's my last fetchable. So it cannot really attack here, unfortunately. Hopefully they do not find removal or a bowmaster here. Okay, that's good for me. And the reason being is that I'm going to have this relic with all likelihood here. Well, this is my hope. I've got to resolve my Lurrus first. Well, I will because they have a bowmaster or Lurrus in hand. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cast this. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Oops. And that is in. And I definitely am going to cast the relic here. I'm just not even worried about it. And we'll get rid of all that stuff. They are going to get their Lurrus into play. Do I want to put the bowmaster into my yard? I don't think so. It's in, yep. Oh, that's funny. I got no lands to fetch. Okay. Really good draw for me. Probably should have. I guess it didn't really matter. Psychic Frog. Okay. Oh, I should have done it differently. Just got to pick up my pace, guys. Sorry for the lack of commentary. We're kind of in a weird board state here. How do I feel about that? I really do not like that. But sadly, I have to let it go. They're going to get one turn to do it. It's just the world we're living in. But my bowmaster will trigger here, which will allow me to start attacking. Now they found a swords. Well, that's what I saved it for. So we're kind of playing off the top of the deck here. I guess they double blocked there. Yep. Probably should have done that a little differently. Really nice draw. Oh, they found a negation. Okay. Do I let them draw a card? Okay, here we are, round 3. I think Cami Tinho is playing Lurrus Peel. This hand is not great. I can actually keep this. I don't have any cheap disruption is the problem. Like I've got forces, but it guts my hand to do it. I mean, I guess so. I'm not happy about it. Like I'd much rather this be something like a bowmaster than a frog here. At least one of them. We have the back door of potentially using saga tokens here. I'm not crazy about it because it's likely going to be a Thunder Trap trainer. Oh, okay, maybe they're going straight into a. Oh, it is a Thunder Trap trainer. Okay, really strong start from them. Lotus, yep. Really disappointed that they have the Lotus there, but that's what we're playing against. They're a combo deck. We are not. That's a horrific draw. Just fodder, I guess, for our force. It's a PO. See if they have a fluster. They do. I cannot pay. And we will attempt to do so again. I think getting rid of the frog here is the best option. I'm not crazy about twistering at any point, but if I find a bowmaster, it could be better. It did not attack. Another negation. Okay. So I don't hate that. I have another PO here by the looks of it, and we will try and address that. And they're scared to call my bluff on that. So I can cast Lurrus here. I guess the question is, do I want to? Frog flies over, but this is kind of my opportunity to do it. I believe the correct line is to get a frog going. They've been scared of my bowmaster all the way around that I don't have in my hand. Now they know. Just have to hope they're pulling Lurrus to hand here. It's pretty savage. Draw a couple cards. Yep. Can't do anything. Yep. I guess let's untap and see if we find the null rod. This one has slipped out of our grasp. And we're catching up on a little bit of time here. So we've got a couple rods to bring in. Okay. I think I'm going to move on to the next game here. We definitely want a couple null rods. Maybe. Very lagged here, guys. I do apologize. So why don't we make some decisions? I don't think we need to have a swamp. Definitely want a long goodbye. Definitely want a null rod. Time Twister is somewhat suspect in this matchup, but I think it's okay. Momentum Breaker I'm fine with getting rid of. I think this is pretty reasonable. I actually think Momentum Breaker might be better than Fatal Push. It has the ability to get rid of those pesky Thunder Trap trainers, the same as a Fatal Push, I guess, for one more mana. And gets rid of Lurrus as well. And there are potential loops that we can set up because we're not going to be getting Wastelanded, so Lurrus loops are potentially on. Let's try this out. We knew our hand was a little bit suspect and it was going to require some help. We never quite got there in the first game. This hand is not very good either, funny enough. I don't hate it, though. Obviously, I'm somewhat looking for null rod here. Okay, very likely sitting on removal is my guess. Probably okay to have the force here. I think we're just going to try and control things. This feels like a swords. Hopefully they're just surveilling. They are. And that's going to turn on my negations. I guess it wouldn't really matter because I have two life difference. I have the double force, but let's see what happens here. Time walk. Can't in good conscience counter that. I'd really like to, but hopefully they don't have anything here. And even if we end up having to gut our hand here, we got Lurrus, and we're hopefully drawing cards off the frog if we do have to expend our resources, which is not optimal, but Thunder Trap Trainer. Yep. What's awkward about this particular sequence here is that I'm not really able to fly over it without starting to discard. I got a Mox Pearl, yeah. You got the swords now, likely with Fluster backup. Yeah, I mean, I am going to fight here. They're down to one card, so we have to hope it's not removal or a Flusterstorm. I am somewhat concerned about a removal spell from them, but what's it called? The card that goes with Wizards has multiple options on it. I can't think of the name of it. All right, well, we are going to attempt to counter this. Oh, they did have a Ancestral. Wow, okay. Oof. Yeah, they had the swords now. Yeah, that was a good Ancestral. Really nice setup from my opponent there, or top deck one of the and or the other. Oh my god, this is pretty bad for me. They're going to do Lurrus here, and we just lose if they have a PO stock up. I'm going to need a little bit of luck here. Yep. I've had pretty good success against the Lurrus PO deck recently with Control, but I do know that it's a difficult matchup. Sink in the stupor, yep. I think I'm going to make them do it for mana value. Oh, did they have the swords here? Like, I can't really block any of their thunder traps. Oh, so they do have it now. Oh, Squelcher. Okay. Yeah, they have Fio here. Yeah, that did not feel like much of a game, did it? Okay, guys, here we are in round 4. Not quite sure why it's doing that, but okay. So my mana base is a bit shaky on the draw here. Not a bit, it is shaky, but I am on the draw, and I've got a very controlling hand, and my opponent has not shown me a Lurrus. So, okay. Nice to have the mist up when I'm seeing this. Black Lotus, that's funny. Okay. They did not go for it. Okay. Days could be good here in this situation. I'm sure they're glad not to see a Spell Pierce being held up here. Okay, they're going to go for a Jewel. That would be really nice if I could use my days here. Light and Weakstone. I'm fairly unhappy with that. I think I'm going to pitch, like, Mindbreak Trap is pretty weak now. Yeah, I think I have to pitch the Trap. I'm not happy about it, but like, Twister's not a card I really want. Oh, wow. Well, I regret that instantaneously. All right. Okay, Lotus is a good draw. I mean, I could twist here, but I don't think that's a good idea. No, it has to be the other way, right? We do blue. Yeah, black. So why don't we draw first? Bowmaster would be sweet here. Okay, I don't mind that. Now, we're pretty vulnerable, but that's the world we're living in. Might be a bit late, but I still think that this is fine. And we just have to hope they have nothing or our days holds up. So they did play around me. Not much I can do there. Now, of note, they were at 12 life. Okay. Probably in a lot of trouble here, but land off the top would allow me to twist and perhaps kill them. I'm just trying to decide, do I value putting a land more in my hand to potentially pitch to frog next turn? Because they're going to be going down to 7. Going down to 7. 3. So I can put them to 3. But I win with Twister? They have 5 cards in hand. You see, I think the easiest thing to do, like the smartest line, is to pull a land back, daze them, and then still be able to hold up Spell Pierce, because they still have not played a land with 5 cards in hand, and shutting off a ring could be really good here. I don't really like it, but I think it's just what I have to do. Because Twister obviously is awesome if I can get it to work, but it's asking a lot. They should not be able to pay with days for that. Huh? They can? This mana can't be spent to cast non-artifact spells, so it did work for them. So that was a disaster for me. Okay. Yeah, so we're pretty dead here. Just kill my frog. Oh, they're drawing cards. Let's see what happens. Oh, Academy. Yeah, we're dead here. Okay. So this is game. I can concede they're fooling around with me here. So there is a combination here of Jewel. Well, it's Jewel with the Might Stone and Weak Stone is what it is. So I don't have a lot of removal that I'm going to focus on here. I'm going to use my Snuff Out, Dismember, Seal Removal, and Momentum Breaker to be able to try and manage Argentum Masticores and Worm Coils. I think otherwise our deck is reasonably well set up here. Daze is probably not where I need to be here. I guess for me is, do I want to have a mental misstep here? I think it's probably just in a bubble better than Gitaxian Probe. I think this is fine. There's a number of threats that are pretty scary in their deck, but okay. Well, this is potentially a twister kill, if I can get it going. I know their deck does some broken things. I just feel like this is just a worthwhile spot to try and like that. This is just really hard to pass up. Like they'd have to have like they had a Lotus last game, right? On top of things, and that's low prevalence. I'm not going to strip mine them here, guys. I think that this is just the world I'm living in here. They're obviously desperate. And then, I mean, this is dangerous. Interesting. All right. I mean, I go for it, right? I think there's a pretty realistic chance they have counter magic, but no guarantees. They have to have it or they die. They did not. Hmm. And a mulligan, guys. I have to be disciplined. How much do I don't want this dismember? I don't have an answer currently to a Masticore. I'm going to let this resolve because if they cast a spell, I can counter it. But and this is a Masticore. I still have an answer. Yeah. So I like the way we play that, and we will have counter backup in order to facilitate that. I'm just tempted to strip mine them here. Like, can I take 5? I can. And this gives me the option to hold up Spell Pierce as well. Interesting, yep. They don't have another land, is the next question. I'm just going to do it. They have a force, okay. I think the disciplined thing here is to get rid of the frog. Wish I didn't do that. Tough one. 3 viable options here. No cards in hand? Gonna go for the Bowmaster. So now it's a little more complex because, like, I could Wasteland and Strip Mine them and hold up Spell Pierce. If they use those tombs, they go to 6. I could cast Null Rod. Worm Coil's a real problem if it happens. I think I'd just go get Force of Will here. Is that crazy, guys? Like, can I just get an Ancestral? I'm taking the greedy line. I hope I don't get punished. So I did get punished here a bit. The Masticore is a good one. I mean, I have removal in my deck for it. It's just a matter of can I find it? Okay. Do I Ancestral here? I feel like Ancestraling is really greedy. This turns their Ancient Tombs off. All right, let's just not fool around here, guys. I took a gamble last turn, and we drew one of our answers to the Masticore, and now their tombs are shut off. Well, they have 1 tomb activation. Yep. Now they have no tomb activations. All right. Good win. Okay. Here we are in round 5. Last saw Eco Squirrel playing Esper Lurrus, Noted Oath player. Oh, I really like this hand. Double Force available. Turn 1 Frog or Bowmaster. What becomes tricky with this hand is if it's Oath, we have to be pretty careful deploying creatures. But of course, we're going to need to do that because that's how we win. Just a matter of, I guess, if we draw a blue card here. So let's find out. They've kept 7. Okay, it's a good one. Mostly because it's a... Oh, here's the thing. Yeah, no, we're going to cast a frog. We have to try and... This is our best chance to get ahead here. Likely to surveil here. No. Vampiric Tutor. I cannot resist that. They had it. Okay. I can't fight over it. We just have to hope they don't have a force. And one of the ways that I get punished here is if they get something like an oath and they have the force as well. Oh, gosh. By inclinations, I want a force here. It's a gut call. Okay. So it is oath. That was a really good draw, guys. Another wasteland? Okay. I think I will discard the momentum breaker. Do I want to discard the bowmaster? I think so. We're going to get rid of the hedge maze here. And yeah, guys, like, let's hope. That's a good draw. I will be able to kill them next turn no matter what. I don't have to pitch anything. I do like these spells. Take their ability to delve away. I can kill them here. The oath itself is not a problem. Do I even care? I mean, I'm going to do it anyways. So we're playing against Oath of Druids. Probably can cut a swamp. I think Snuff Out is worth it. Maybe not. I don't know. Doesn't hit much. Ralph and Mikey, maybe. Do you want a long goodbye for an Oko? Maybe. Do we want days? Could save me in a pinch. It's a reasonably low to the ground deck. My Brig Trap is not great, but it could be. And it pitches. I honestly think Momentum Breaker is just really not very good. Okay, I need to find a blue source, but I feel like this hand has enough in it. Like having the turn one Force of Will is pretty important. This basically just shuts off my entire hand. Okay. Blue source. Not good, guys. So if they have an oath, we probably are going to lose. Like not 100%, but we desperately need to find a blue source here. Time walk, okay. Hopefully they don't have land here, guys. No oath, no land. The good news is they're brainstorming Maine. The bad news is if they find something, or it could be bad news, is if they find like land into oath or something, it's unfortunate. Because what we're needing to do is we're needing them not to do anything, us untap, find a blue source, wasteland them. That's where I'm at. Okay. Okay, that I can live with. They're going to take my ancestral here. If that's their play, I can live with that. We still need to find that blue source desperately. Look at this. Okay. Yeah, Oko's a tough one. All right. Yeah. Yep. I guess my question is, do I want to draw a card or do I want to seal this thing? I think I'm reasonably comfortable sealing. I guess the question I have is, how much do I want the wasteland underneath? They'll make another token, I guess. Doesn't stop that. Yeah. I didn't know that I wanted to. I just more feeling out. Cannot stop that. Okay, I think I do want the wasteland here. Misstep in the yard. Okay. We are looking for a long goodbye. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to under city sewers. Do I want a negation? In all honesty, I don't hate it. But Daze is still live. I feel like I just need to deal with this Oko. Okay, that's not the worst. Now, if they want to spend their time turning that into an elk, I'm okay with that, because it buys me more time. Correctly identified that they should be attacking here. We're going to try and get them in. Play the Lotus. Now, next turn, they are probably just going to turn this into an elk, and I think that's okay. Or I guess what they'll try and do is exchange it for an artifact. Is that what they're doing? Yep. Pretty good. I'm not quite sure now how I get out of this. I guess a Bowmaster is a start. We'll just die into the Oko here. I did not mean to use all my mana there. That could have been a fatal mistake, perhaps. Okay. I mean, I really wish I could take the treasure cruise. Like a treasure cruise, and I still die. So I guess it has to be Bowmaster Frog. And not good, but they can just exchange my frog here. Not much I can do about it. Unfortunately, I can't put it out of range, right? No, it's power 3 or less, yeah. So they could just do a straight swap. It's funny, I'm fairly close to wiggling out of this, but not quite. All right, we lost to Oko. Okay, I do think we probably want Momentum Breaker here. I honestly don't know whether it's any good or not. Consign can stop a critical oath trigger. Actually, I don't think we need it. On the play, I just kind of like the way we're set up. I'm going to require a bit of help here, but hopefully they just don't have a turn one Vexing Bobble again. That was pretty brutal on us. Okay, Ponder is good. Pretty happy to be able to use my trap there, despite it would have been fine to keep it as a pitch as well. We are looking for land. Perfect. No play. All right, we do have to get trying to win here, guys. Would love a land. Consign's not bad. They're going to surveil here. Could use my consign, but I'm not going to. They kept on top, okay. So here's the thing with the oath. I mean, I guess I try and counter it. Days is not looking overly good here. Like, I don't really want an oath to resolve. I'm quite a ways away from Treasure Cruise, despite I'm sad to have to pitch it. They have a force. They have a second oath here. It's bad, but I just can't imagine a world where they would have countered it if they had a second oath. So we will save the consign to memory over the days, because days is not overly effectual here. This is not bad if they have an Oko, as long as they don't have another land. They ripped the oath. Okay. I think I have to make them pay. And then we will use consign, and hopefully with the extra token they give me and something like another bowmaster, added pressure, we can somehow find our way there. A cage is also another option here. Yep. So that's game. Yep, they got us. Nothing we can do here. I shouldn't do that, because if I draw a time twister, we have a chance. Yeah, they didn't get a force of will there. Of course, they will wasteland me here. We take our damage where we can get it here. Now I think it's a dig through time into Twister and Lotus are our outs. Just doesn't do anything. It's game, and this is one of the problems when you play blue-black. Oath is distinctly a weakness of the deck. Because we don't have Containment Priest, we don't have Swords to Plowshares to be able to remove these things. Now, I feel like I have a fairly good win rate against Oath in general, but a Resolved Oath is very difficult to play there. And of note, I decided to keep the Consign, but last game, I drew the Spell Pierce after I had already pitched the Daze, and had I kept the Daze, because they paid for my Spell Pierce, I could have dazed the Oath. Hindsight's 2020. I didn't have the Spell Pierce in my hand. I think my logic was adequate at the time that I can consign a Resolved Oath trigger, which I did. Bought me a turn, but I never found my way to what I was looking for. Okay, guys, here we are in round 6, and we are the top-seeded 3-2 with pretty good breakers. I do not see a Lurrus reveal here. I think this is worth keeping. Obviously, the Null Rod is a little awkward given that we have 2 Moxes here, but having a Force of Will up is pretty decent, and we do have a Bowmaster and a Wasteland, in addition to a turn 1 Null Rod if we have to do that. So the hand is awkward. I think it's somewhat contingent on what we're... Oh, okay, that answers that. Now, they may counter this black spell here. The Black Mox. They might. because they know that the Bowmaster is a problem card for them. It is in. Okay. I'm just trying to think, do I want to play the Nihil Spellbomb here? I don't think so. I think I like the idea of being able to play around Daze and having Wasteland up. I do not think that they have a counterspell here, but they might. Okay, that is in. Bowmaster, should it be hanging around, is very good against Doomsday. They are protecting their mana. Now we have the awkward situation of we don't have blue currently. Now I am cognizant of a Delve spell potentially being turned on here. Okay, that is not triple black for Doomsday. Obviously, I'd prefer to wait till the fetch lands are in the yard, but that's okay. And we're looking for a blue source here. Don't mind that. I guess the question I have with double force up, is it best to go for a null rod now? I think so. I still can play around a Flusterstorm potentially here. If they counter this, great. This just makes it a lot harder for them to one-turn combo me. And yes, I Stone Rain myself for the long-term goal of being able to play around their stuff here. Okay, it's in. They still have a mitt full here, so I am a bit nervous about my ability to win here, but they could just be going and getting a Unable to Scream if they happen to have one main deck, which is very strong if they have it. If they Ancestral here, I will let it resolve. I still have the ability to seal my Orcish Bowmaster back if they do that. Okay, what is this, Time Walk? That does stop my offense. Okay, I can't fight over that. They have instant sorcery in their yard. I desperately need to find a blue source. Here's the Doomsday. No Doomsday. Oh, wow. Okay. They just burned the ritual. We need some help. They did not play a land last turn, so if they gush here... Oh, chain. I'm not thrilled to do this, but I feel like the Bowmaster is one of the ways that I can gum them up here. Oh, that was brutal. So is that. My God. What are the chances I draw all my mocks? And I feel like that was kind of a death blow for me. Okay. Like a fatal push is not bad here. What's crazy about this is I have gone a really long time without finding a blue source. Like it's 8 turns, eh? Here's the Doomsday. Yep. Now they cannot ancestral because they'll die. So they've got chain. So very likely a Street Wraith into a chain. Like they still have 3 cards in hand here with 2 open mana. But they also could chain my Null Rod. No, they didn't go for Lotus. No Time Walk. They're at 3. And now they Time Walk. That was just amazing that they had that. Oh boy. Did they do Ancestral? They're just going to chain me here. Sack a land. Get rid of my Bowmaster. Should have tapped that mana, but anyways. Did I somehow get that to work? Do they have an answer to my Bowmaster? They do. Another Bowmaster off the top. Did not get there. And we just die, right? Yep. It's not optimal, guys. I think they have the second Oracle in hand, very likely. I don't see it in exile there. Just the one. So if they have it, we just die. But I'm going to make them show it to me. Yeah, okay. All right, you know what? We almost pulled that off. They had the Ancestral in hand. So I feel like these decks have some number of Murktide Regent seems to be the flavor. I mean, Null Rod is okay, but it's not amazing. Seal of Removal is fine because of Unable to Scream. I feel like I probably maybe just want a Spell Bomb. I don't know. I think this is good, guys. Okay. We do need to find a second land here. But hopefully our Delve land can do that for us. Consider Into the Yard. That works. Not crazy about it, but we're going to fight. If they have the Fluster, it sucks. Okay, that I can live with. I'm going to see if I can hit a blue card off my frog here. Allow me to time walk. This they might fight over because they're trying to move towards a Murktide here. I'm almost sure of it. Oh, they did have that. Okay. Well, it's not an option for me to fight over that. It is, but I mean, I'm not going to. Can I Demonic Tutor here? Maybe. I think I just Ancestral myself. They have it, they have it. They don't. Okay, those are great cards. Not gonna lie, these flow states are pretty good. They're looking really strong in my opponent's deck. Gosh, sure. Wish I had a Bowmaster to punish them. Okay. I think I let the Ponder resolve. Shuffles, okay. Do I want to do it? I think so. And then I get a relic. I don't think I need to play my land out. Do I need to play this land? Don't think so. Let's just get going. I like that. Now, I mean, my opponent's dead next turn. They have to go for it here. And they might have the ability to do it. Whether they can do it through my counters or not is a different story. Long goodbye. Okay. I mean, yeah, I can live with that. That was their top deck. I'm going to play this out because it boosts my guy here. And I think I just hold up negation Bowmaster here and try and kill my opponent. Let's see what they do. I am going to attempt to counter that. I realize I could have hard cast it, but we're going to try and untap and just win here. That'll do it. Okay. I like the way we're set up. The hand itself is not great, but the wastelands might be able to really carry some weight for me. Okay, that I can live with. Buy me some time. Yeah, the Mox is actually the correct pick there because they want to keep me off Bowmasters as long as they can. But we are going to try and stifle their mana here Doomsday can struggle with mana. Yep. Okay. They did not bin something. I think I'll time walk. If my opponent wants to fight, I'm okay with that. Let's see what they're going for here. Demonic Tutor. So that is a long goodbye that they're going to likely get, or an Ancestral. And if they go for Black Lotus, then they're going to turn my trap on that they don't know about. Okay. They're just going to pass. They don't know about my trap here. They're leaving Fluster up here for... a dig through time with a Fluster up. Do I make them have it? I think so. I just think the upside of not having to pitch is so high. If I have to, so be it. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. That's not a Flusterstorm. Okay. I'd love a land here, like a black or blue producing land. I can't stop a long goodbye, but I don't think that's what they went to get. Okay. They're down to 2 cards. I'm going to wasteland them next turn, likely. Okay. Oh, I forgot to play my Mox. It's actually a big deal. Oops. All right. No land. Do I want to protect my Lurrus? I think I do. It's a little greedy coming off my spell, but my counters. I still have, of course, pitch or cast negation. Yeah, that's what I want to see. All right. If they do find a land, I'm hoping it is a fetch. I will attack first before wastelanding. All right, nice win for us. Let's see if our breakers work for us and we can find our way into top 8. So as you can see, my breakers here are really good at 68% going into the last round. Only Tsuba Cat has better at 72. But unfortunately, 5 out of my 6 opponents have lost. Or so 4 out of 5 have lost, and the 5th one is still going. They did win, so we got 1 out of the 5. So my breakers are likely to go down. So I don't know that we're going to be able to breaker into 8th, but our breakers going into this round were really good. It's just my opponents that I played previously have had a pretty rough round. So it's going to be bad luck if we end up in 9th here, but it'll be close. Okay, guys, we ended up in 10th place, exactly where we were sitting. We fell from 68% down to 61. And of course, my game win percentage, or no, we fell down to 53%. 61 overall. Yeah, just a little bit out of the top 8 there, guys. But let's take a look at our list. I was pretty happy overall with the one rod today. Despite we did have a couple matches where it would have been pretty good to have the extra one. I didn't really miss it that much. And yep, once again, my break trap, very good. I liked how we navigated with our traps today. Momentum breaker was pretty good. I don't remember if it was post board. I think it was, where we got a really key Argenta Masticore. And it wasn't main deck, so I don't know that it was overly relevant in the main today, but don't hate the change. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I have to say. I mean, everything else was reasonably routine for me. So please do like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for hanging out.